Hey everybody, welcome back to our Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to watch some 86. We got a little synopsis here where, to describe the show, it goes as such. The Republic of San Mongolia has been at war with the Galadian Empire for 9 years. Though it initially suffered devastating losses to the Empire's autonomous mechanized legions, the Republic has since developed its own autonomous units, Juggernauts, which are directed remotely by a handler. While on the surface, the public believes the war is being fought between machines, in reality, the Juggernauts are being piloted by humans, and all of them are the 86, the designation given to the subhumans of the 86th sector who are persecuted and stripped of their rights by the racist-led Alba government. Yeah,
Again,
that's pretty heavy.
I did tell Griff that there's a second paragraph to the plot, but that starts getting into characters and motivations and, kind of like the way where you read the back of an old VHS and
hmm
it tells you like the plot of the whole movie sort of thing. I thought, leave that out. I skimmed over it just enough to know what it was about without remembering any details. So,
Right, and of course, once we get watching, we'll go ahead and get all of that front-loaded to us anyway. May as well just see it live, right?
well, I mean, we don't know if it's going to be front loaded or not. So, we don't know anything. We haven't seen the show before. So what I guess is a good way to segue to I guess guess it. No, let's not guess what it's about, but expectations maybe. What's your expectations for the show, Griff?
I think what I'm expecting is like a lot of dark drama and a lot of heavy action. Those are like my initial expectations. That's what's selling me here immediately, right?
Okay,
We
wait.
got big robots.
Expectations and desires. That's what I meant to say. What do you expect and what do you hope from the show?
I would hope for what I always hope for, which is everyone coming together and having a revolution. But we'll see how far that goes. This sounds like the perfect scenario for it. It's like you die or you die. May as well give it a shot. What do you think?
Well, expectations wise, I think this is the show that got recommended alongside or during our Witch from Mercury watch. So I'm hoping for the emotional resonance that I wanted from every other show that's come after that. And of course, when I say emotional resonance, I mean like the connection you feel to the characters, like how I felt with Witch from Mercury, say early half of Bochi the Rock. I will admit I kind of fell off on the characters' interconnections once they started getting past the problems. I was more in the problem phase of their relationships.
You don't want solutions, you want problems. Understood. This sounds like the show that has a lot of
Well,
problems.
okay, maybe not so much the solutions, so there wasn't any real solutions. She just kind of moved forward with the problems. But
Mhm.
it started becoming more about the world around her and less about her problems specifically. But,
Yeah, yeah.
or I should say, to a lesser degree, Made in Abyss. Made in Abyss, the world building kind of started drawing you in more than the connections to the characters. So, Riku constantly getting hurt all the time became less of a thing once you start like,
Right,
God, this
that's a
whole
show
fantasy
about
world.
suffering.
Well, it's more the whole fantasy world. There's a lot of world building in that one. Which I guess I want
Mhm.
from this too. I want a lot of world building. I want to start every episode with a 30-minute Theta Thoughts section is what I want to do. I want to start deep diving. So, I guess
Nothing
that,
stops you from doing that.
well, yeah, there are elements that stop me from doing it. So the amount I care about the show, right?
Right,
If I
exactly.
don't care, that I'm not wasting my free time doing it. So, but
Oh,
no,
we got a
I
good
will
bit of world
say,
building already.
that we are recording 2 episodes back to back. So if you're expecting any sort of deep dives or anything, wait for episode 3 to happen, because otherwise it's going to be our observations and what we see and remember during these 2 recordings that'll actually get brought up in the next episode or during the post on this one. So, um, yeah, and thanks to our artist for making a brand new overlay for us. Beneath Griffin there is Griffin. Oh, yeah, we all know from Iron Blooded Orphans, Griffin likes characters named after himself, or
That's right.
characters he
It's
shares
obvious
that
choice.
name with. And as always, I love Sturly One-Eyed characters. Apparently, I've been told that this character is gruff and impersonal and basically me. So I don't
Yeah,
remember
it
what
sounds
their
like you got
name.
your own stand-in.
I don't remember what their name is. Well, it hasn't gone out yet, but we have a new overlay for the Gundam series that's going to be coming later, and that is a military dressed uniformed character. And I also have our Full Metal Alchemist character that I have, Fuhrer King Bradley, who's also a one-eyed military dressed officer. So I have a type apparently.
Yeah, you're gonna lose an eye, and you're gonna gain some sort of swordsmanship powers. That's what I'm expecting.
And of course, we haven't seen the show, so I guess these are the types of mecha that are in the show as are positioned across the battlefield. So, yeah, once again, thanks to our artist for doing another amazing job.
So I guess in that case, let's just go ahead and get to observing. And before you all observe with us, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. On top of all that, if you want more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on the Patreon. It's just $5 a month, but no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra.
Click the link down below, join the Discord, and remember, that's the only way that we're ever going to see you recommend stuff.
Handler 1より Undertaker 敵迎撃部隊がポイント302および504に多数大体規模の戦車並びに同規模の近接両兵部隊だ
We did a battle by train?
Yeah, I mean, this already has me. We got trains at this anime.
We're not by train.
We got claw bots.
We didn't get that symbol in our overlay. This is a good reason why you don't need humanoid robots. Those work perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah. But starting us off with the action, and then now, nice and quiet.
She reads military strategy.
She is the very model of a modern Major General.
Stellar year 2148.
That is the...
I don't think your bacon's been cooked all the way. Yes, all 85 sectors.
Street magicians have really upped their game, huh?
I guess doves are cheap.
I'm slightly frightened by everyone having gray hair.
Is it gray hair or is it like a platinum blonde? Of course, because they're all automated.
Yeah. Yes, the lie.
Do you think that the 86 sector is just everybody without platinum blonde hair and blue eyes?
Oh boy, it sure is. It's sure gonna be.
Hey, she's a major. Okay, so they believe the propaganda too?
I think they're just perfectly fine with watching people die.
No, they said not that anybody was there. Like they believed that nobody was there. Oh boy, they formed a queue.
ほっときなさいって。ここは戦場じゃない。グランミュールの中。おまけに敵はあと2年でいなくなる。そんな状況で真面目に国のために尽くそうっていうあんたの方が変わり者なんだから。私はただこの国の両親を。分かったわ。
Who takes war seriously,
演説が
right?
来たことで頭が冴えてないの。
I definitely feel for Science Girl.
本当だよ。なんで一区の俺たちが86区の豚どもに嫌味言われなきゃならないんだよ。
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. These are the guys with the... I forgot these are the people on the side with the 86 thing, so they would have to know. Or at least some of them would have to know.
じゃあ聞き直すわ。どうしてそんなに入れ込むわけ？ 86に。
Right, so they were talking about the dead, they're talking about their own side that they don't give a shit about. And they're saying that the other side didn't lose anybody, because they're automated.
What if the other side also isn't automated?
You read the plot synopsis.
Time to play the most realistic video game on the planet.
I mean, hell, it's gotta be concerning anyway, because the news report showed that the fight was just outside the border.
パラレイドアクティベート同調対象プレアデスプロセッサー同調完了ハンドラー1よりプレアデス今日もよろしくお願いしますね
プレアデスよりハンドラー1同調良好
気をつけてください間もなく敵部隊が射程に入ります万全の注意を払って
人間もどきの86に毎度のご丁寧なご対応ご苦労なことですね人間様
The old, we're never gonna be friends.
She's trying her best, though.
実はある部隊のハンドラーが退役することになってね急遽別の隊のハンドラーから代わりのものを選出したというわけだ
公認決定まで待機させておけないということは重要拠点の
Is this a flashback, or is it still happening?
This is a flashback.
第一戦区第一防衛戦隊通称スピアヘッド戦隊東部方面軍全体から古参兵を集めたまあいわゆる精鋭部隊だよ
If nobody gets into a frontline fight, where did you get your scars? Shaving. Ah, nepotism still exists.
自分の娘の勇姿をなマルガレータは
I mean, that or everybody in this country serves. Could be an Israel
service
situation. Well, I mean, no, it could be an Israel situation where everybody of a certain age serves for like 2 to 3 years or whatever.
I was gonna go with the bug movie. Service guarantees citizenship.
Yeah, but you could choose not to serve in Starship Troopers.
パーソナルネームアンダーテイカーこれにはちょっとした曰くがあってね
Hey, Griffin, you're number 6. Or 7.
恐れられている何しろ担当するハンドラーを壊してしまうのだそうだ
プロセッサーがハンドラーをですか逆ではなく
ああ
階段の類ではないのですか
勤務中に部下を呼びつけてヨタ話をするほど暇ではないよアンダーテイカーが所属する部隊のハンドラーは担当部隊変更や退役の申請をする者がほとんどだ突然自殺した者もいる信じがたい話だがね
Well then.
亡霊の声とやらに付きまとわれたのだそうだ
亡霊
嫌なら
I mean, it makes sense.
レーナそもそも君は熱心すぎる
It's one of the main plot points of the World War Z novel. Is the people manning the radios in the worldwide effort, hearing people dying constantly all the time.
必要以上のことはしなくていいんだ
It sounds a little bit more than just basic PTSD, though. Maybe.
まったくおこごとついでにもう一つ いい加減報告書に戦死者数を記載するのはやめたまえ。公的には前線に人間はいないことになっている以
Yeah,
上
you are number 7.
戦死者は存在しないのだよ。
だからといって黙認はできません。こんなことは本来許される
I mean, it
こと
makes
では
sense. You don't want to leave a paper trail of the dead people who don't exist.
君は本当にバーツラフに似たな。では、ブラディレーナ・ミリーゼ少佐を第一戦区第一防衛戦隊付き指揮管制官ハンドラーに任命する。着任までに引き継ぎを済ませるように頑張りたまえ。
最後の任務まで全力を尽くします。
See, this is the way you do it.
で、
I'm introduced to characters with personalities and emotions and shit.
With their own little histories and everything going on. It's cute.
Yeah. Not just emotionless PTSD-ridden children. We can introduce to them later through the eyes of this.
You're right to be worried. Everyone will die. You'll die next.
The guy full metal jacketed himself. Oh, by the way, you're clear.
パラレードの不具合じゃないかって。やめてく分にはともかく、さすがに自殺ってなると世間的にもね。どうだったの？さあってハンドラー本人が死んでんだから詳細な調査しようがないわよ。開発チームの主任がそれでいいの？やることはやったわよ。とりあえずレイドデバイスには異常なし。それで終了。どうして持ってんならそのアンダーテイカー連れてきてって言ったのよ。だけど輸送部のバカども。
I hate your desktop.
Oh, I'm glad he brought attention to that. I feel even more for this girl now.
心当たりはありませんだって。ハンドラーが死んだこと伝えたらそうですかってだけ。まあ86だもんね。実際パラレードで気が触れるってのもありえない話じゃないけど、脳の一部を活性化して赤の
And you're just finding this out now?
No, they've clearly been gathering info on this.
No, she's just finding out about this now. It's been her job for a while.
パラレードを使うってことはそういうリスクも負うってことよ。あなたのお父様、この研究の第一人者だったのに。基礎理論は全部別の研究者が構築したものだからよくわからないところもあるわ、実際。ねえレーナ、やっぱり研究部に来ないわ。今の軍なんてただの失業対策じゃない。
I'm gonna admit something now. From the very beginning, I thought that was a guy, and I'm now certain it's a woman. So the voice is throwing me off. I would classify that as a typically masculine voice.
I think your raid config update stalled in the background. Oh, no, it's done.
No, it does that. It's in that weird state where it's 100%, but then it's doing all the background installation stuff, erasing previous installs.
Real food.
So their resources are being trying to figure it out.
Well, we're obviously in a state that's in a constant warfare for its, blue hair, apparently.
Right, but everything on the outside, in the streets and everything, seems like normal to better than normal. So having, like, eggs and milk being rare commodities.
There's a lot of surface reality we're getting, and we gotta get to the bottom of it. That ain't the shape Cream Puff should be in, though. Oh.
So a year later? Oh, a year later, back in the present.
Yeah.
Did she get reassigned later on?
Nope, this is the post.
No, she said the other guy, the general, said 1st Squadron, and she's talking to 3rd and 4th Squadrons.
本当に残念です。いつもお優しいお言葉ありがとうございます、ハンドラー1。報告ですが、第3戦隊は再編成され、新しいハンドラーが着任することに
Oh, so it took him a year to get reassigned.
ありがとうございました。私はスピアヘッド戦隊を指揮管制することに。それはいいニュースね。早速お悔やみ申し上げます、ハンドラー1。それはどういう死神によろしく。
Ah, even they're aware.
This is my problem, is I was paying attention to the year mostly, and we're clearly in the days and months side to be paying attention to, and I'm just fucking it up. This is gonna be a rewatch thing for me. Like, I'm gonna figure out what that said. It said something about hair raid, clearly. Oh, fountain ink pen.
Oh, here we go. We're getting the other side of stuff now.
Was that the Greek? Yeah, it's the uniforms you're wearing in the overlay, Griff.
Yeah, we got people with other hair colors here.
Yeah, so it's literally what I said. That's not the one that blew his head off with a shotgun, was it?
It might be.
That does look like a mobile worker from IBO, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it look like the Ronald McDonald bench things.
I'm just taking it in. There's so many little things going on
Well,
right
yeah,
now.
it's the statue that you had in the main thing, but it's her now putting her foot down on the 86ers. I'm sorry, chicken horse?
Look, you need a mascot. Why not a chicken horse?
まあでも昨日はみんなちゃんと行けたんだよな、シン。
ああ、大丈夫だ。
He's like the male version of that girl from Attack on Titan.
You know, actually, you're right.
I know her name starts with an M, it's just escaping me.
I want to say...
Ten days later. Holy shit, Grip. Guns work in this setting.
I know, right?
Holy shit, Grip.
Everyone's already dying.
No, just the blood pouring out of it.
Good sequencing going with like all the happy-go-lucky time of the barracks, all the feelings for everyone. Now they're dead.
Yeah, these aren't the mecha that you're gonna draw clever signs on.
Oh. Making it quick.
He's the one that the cat jumped on. Right?
And now we are back in the IBO timeline.
Oh, they've got Dead Space health monitors. Oh, he's dead.
Presumably, since this is all brain link stuff, if your brain stops working, so does the thing.
No, that's the guy the cat jumped on, right?
九条のやつはちゃんと行けたのか。ああ。兄貴の声は。いや。
I mean, it really gives you the feel of the show.
Yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs to this, but I'm digging it. Nice little juxtaposition between them.
Fucking glory to the Spearhead Squadron.
New mission.
ハンドラー1よりスピアヘッド戦隊各員。はじめまして。本日よりあなた方の指揮管制を担当いたします。女？今晩は着任の挨拶のため連絡しました。
はじめましてハンドラー1。こちらはスピアヘッド戦隊戦隊長。パーソナルネームアンダーテイカーです。ハンドラー交代の通達は受けたまわっています。本日よりよろしくお願いします。
こちらこそよろしくお願いしますね。アンダーテイカー。
Oh, we don't get more. Darn.
Oh, I kind of thought that the credits playing over the scenes was the ending. That we weren't
Nope,
gonna
we
get an
double
ending. Still, I'm hoping the fact that he like took a piece of the mech and carved a name into it, that they're not gonna be the type of show that's like, they never existed. Anyone that's dead never existed. That way we don't have to deal with it. I hate that
clearly
thing.
on their side, this is like their collecting of the dog tags. They want to remember their dead friends.
I just mean that there's so many shows in media that does that. Like, you know, we don't remember the dead because that'd just be too painful. So we just give it to somebody else.
Right. I think the vibe I'm getting out of this so far is definitely going to be like the struggle for hope.
The vibe I'm getting is Iron-Blooded Orphans, but better. They started by humanizing characters, and IBO was just, look, we're out in the field doing hard work. Oh, and then we can beat all of our problems by tying their thumbs together. It's like, come on.
So they did show a world map for half a second with actual real-world geography.
Yeah, it looks like they're operating in Africa, North Africa, close to Egypt, but not Egypt. I don't know the names of the countries that are west of Egypt.
We got a couple.
I know there's a lot, Griffin. Okay, I thought we were going to get something. I know, Griff, most of the countries in northern Africa are west of Egypt.
The ones that come to mind specifically to me are Libya and Morocco. Morocco obviously being way further away. Uh, that's all that's on my brain right now.
I think
But maybe they'll actually say a place.
among countries in the world, you know, in that if you're the last person left on the Where in the World's Carmen Sandiego game show,
Uh-huh.
that game that you have to play on there,
No, it's not ringing a bell right now.
you
but-
get like 10 poles with like little flashing lights on them, and they give you like a map of a continent, and then they make you place one, all 10 of them. You're supposed to place all 10 of them on every country that they shout at you, and you have 60 seconds to do it. Or you basically have like 2 to 3 seconds to find every country, which means that you need to know where they're at. And
Yeah.
my point being, if you did that in Africa, I would be the least likely to win for me. I mean, because a lot of European countries that you might not know, like the stands and all that, the ones that broke apart after Soviet Union and everything, you could basically figure out because they're all grouped together mostly. But everywhere else in the world, I think I'd have a chance. Africa, no chance. I never studied any locations. I don't think I got taught a lot of African history in school. It's just not there.
This is why maps are important, everybody. But just for pure reference, there is from right to left, or I guess from east to west, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, and then Western Sahara.
Like I
So
said,
that would be everything on the north coast.
as I said, most North African countries are west of Egypt.
All of them would be, actually.
Given that Egypt is the connecting point from Africa to the Middle East, famously.
So we're gonna have some fun trying to pin down real world locations and stuff happening. This is
well, I mean,
120 years in the future, so it'll be interesting seeing like, well, how did we get here?
Well, I mean, even Gundam 00 only had the difference of 2 countries, really, when you look at it. So it looked to me like a normal map. I just didn't know the countries' names, and the fact that they have a giant map with like a pinpoint thing, I think it's not going to be a problem.
Right now, we did get like a lot of our commander character. We know like where they're coming from, what their thought process is. I guess we're still waiting to see like what Undertaker actually says is like their thesis for like what they're thinking. They've mostly been operating entirely off of like visuals, right? They've been expressing themselves through what they're doing.
I guess just going back to the map real quick before I address your thought. I guess I just wasn't expecting the real world. Right?
That's also fair.
Because we were like, here's this one country and it's fighting another country, and I was like, okay, maybe it's going to be like mega continent things, like it's going to be a whole different world, and these are like the only 2 countries, or what is it, 1984 that only has like three countries?
Yeah, Eurasia has always been at war with East Asia.
Yeah, or until we split it around and move it around, just to confuse people. But yeah, that sort of thing. I didn't expect it to be the real world, which means that our country here, our fictional country of blue hair, or let's say blue until they nail it down. Blue hair,
platinum, gray,
blue eyes, just double blue. The double blue people are an African country. If the crosshair mark on the map is where the fighting is happening, and we've already determined that the fighting is happening just outside the borders, that means that our fictional country of blue-haired, blue-eyed white people is entirely a North African country.
Which, increasingly troubling to think about, but I'm gonna go ahead and just put that into the back of my brain and come back to it.
I'm saying that they're white people, but even Egyptians look more white than South Africans do. And I think there's remember when that Egyptian movie came out, and they cast a black woman in the role of Cleopatra, and then Egyptians were getting upset because Cleopatra was supposed to be an Egyptian, not a Nubian. So
right. We don't have necessarily the time at the end of this video to go over why race is absolutely bullshit.
Well, no, I'm not. Well, it's,
I know.
It's not that. It's just the depictions of people, right? So their proximity could be close to Egypt, and they could just be blue-eyed, blue-haired Egyptians, and we're reading them as white because, one, it's anime, and two, there's nothing to compare them against, really, because they're literally racist and segregating a population outside of their border.
The only thing we really have to analyze, I think, is like the cityscape we've been given, which is kind of just like neoclassical, I guess, and could be technically anywhere.
Well, no, again, I guess the map was in the outro, right? So
Yeah,
that literally
we got
could...
like a couple frames of it.
Yeah, well, my thing is, though, why would it be pointing there if we know that the war is happening literally between two countries that are next to each other? So why would they be looking at somewhere else in the world unless the previous thought was right and it is two giant super countries fighting each other?
Yeah.
And maybe this is like Gundam 00, there's neutral territory out there?
Well, only one way to find out. We'll have to catch it next time.
Well, we haven't even done the characters, Griff. What are you doing? We went back to the map. I haven't even addressed your thoughts on Undertaker.
Well, I guess let's go ahead and keep addressing thoughts. All right, go ahead.
Well, what did you say about Undertaker again?
I was saying we haven't got much of like his thesis for what he's thinking about, why he's doing things. We've only gotten like the visual cues of like what he's doing by his actions, and he hasn't said much about it yet.
Well, there was the thing they said, the voice of your brother. You remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, what's that? What is that? Why would you ask him about the voice of his brother after confirming if somebody else was dead?
All right. So crazy sci-fi theory here is his brother's brain went through the Neuralink device and is now in his brain, and that's why people connecting to him through command through the Neuralink are going crazy because there's two people in one headset.
Well, but you know from the person who was analyzing the problems with the Pararaid system was that it has a chance to drive you insane, not to upload your brain into somebody else's brain.
Like I said, wild sci-fi theory.
Wild sci-fi theory. Dr. Veer had blue hair.
Oh my gosh, he actually went to another dimension.
Dr. Veer is insane because he comes from the 86 into the world of Symphogear.
Anyone would be crazy going to Symphogear.
Here's another thing. We were talking about eggs before.
Uh-huh.
The 86ers have eggs with no problem. There's chickens out there. They chased them down, got an egg. And yet,
they're clearly doing
the people in the 85 districts, I mean...
do not apparently have real food.
I mean, do they or don't they? Is that just her? Like, oh, real eggs, we're not using synthetics. You know, we didn't really get any point of view. She was just like, I use real eggs. I use real milk. What is the truth
of their wartime economy is the question, right?
Well, that's my point. Or the point I'm getting to here is, why would you supply the people you're racist against, and have God, the word's not coming to me. Segregated. You've segregated from your population. Why would you supply them with the higher tier foods that if you don't care?
Unless you highly value your nutrient-based dispenser.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem like... It seems like it's a commodity. It's a high-valued commodity. And they don't have it. And the people living in the shithole do. Which doesn't make sense. I'm thinking we may have just gotten it wrong.
Well, I can only think they'll throw us more evidence of it as we go. They gotta show off more.
It's either that or maybe it's a government thing. Like the government doesn't want you to eat sugars or, non-processed foods or whatever. So they're like, it's made from real eggs. More
convincing that they're evil.
It's made from real eggs. It's made from real milk. Is her way of saying I've done something highly illegal that you're gonna want to do with me. The equivalent of let's do hard drugs in this case is just I made something with eggs and milk. I'm just throwing shit out there. Maybe their blue-eyed, blue-haired status is completely artificial, and eating real foods is going to change that. Maybe there's a chance that she could turn into an 86er.
That would actually be hilarious. I think that would be incredibly funny.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, there's the concern of how is there so many of these people of one specific hair and eye quality and so
Mhm.
few normal humans. So what if the 86 people of the 85 districts are genetically modified in such a way where they can't process eggs and milk anymore, and the
Maybe it's all just a
86
fad.
and the 86ers are literally just normal humans, and now
Mhm.
normal humans are the sub-race of humans.
Right. We gotta find out the specific extent of why they're the baddies, right? We're gonna find that out.
I mean, we don't
Is
know the problem is they're clearly the baddies within their own subtext, right? But we haven't literally met the other side of the war yet. I think the
it is
people.
possible to have two baddies. That is correct.
I don't know that it's two baddies though. It's one is a government that needs to be addressed and fixed. They're not they are clearly the baddies. It's hard to argue this point. I mean,
I know.
I'm not.
You wanna do it.
No, I'm not trying to argue for argument's sake. I'm just saying that the outside threat is the more obvious enemy, and that the inside threat is an internal enemy to you, but not an enemy to itself. I think this follows through on the whole conspiracy argument that we were having before, that the government can't conspire against itself because it is itself.
Mhm.
That whole train of
Yeah,
thought.
that whole train. Yeah.
Well, I know you. Here's the problem with that, Griff, is that you're like, that's fucking stupid, but you're not like willing to debate it anymore. So it's hard to get on the track with that. It's like, I don't know. I'm gonna say you can't threaten yourself, but you can. It's called demonetization on YouTube if you say it out loud, which was a real threat to the last Symphogear episode I uploaded because it's literally in the name of the episode.
Oh gosh, yeah. Um, but I suppose in the end, yeah, no. They are still going to be baddies in one way or another, and just because they have an enemy doesn't make them less bad.
I think to the setup of the show, though, it doesn't make them a full-on enemy. Because the setup of the show is, hey, here's our one point of view character who exists as a member of this society, and
Mhm.
they want to change things, which then has to denote that the baddies the people we're saying are the bad guys, that the only ones we've been introduced to, are not impossible to change, right?
Right, I suppose that might be what it's laying down, but we've only had one episode of people talking with each other.
I'm,
And the
I
nicest piece of the hierarchy we've seen is literally our commander's uncle.
I hate to pull out and break Godwin's law already, but I feel like your government in like the narrative here, like this
Uh-huh.
specific type of narrative, can only be absolute evil when we've reached a Nazi status. Like we're like
Have we not?
we're not concentration camping our own people yet, right? We're not at the point where just
No, we're just sending prisoners to the front line
we're
like Nazis did.
Griff, let me finish here. We're not at the point where talking out loud about the issue is going to get you killed or shipped off or something, because she is clearly still talking out about it and
Mhm.
wanting to change things and talking to these people nicely and all this shit. We've sent them off. I mean, clearly it does have its allusions to a concentration camp if you think about it. If you gave all the Jews guns and put them to the front line, that sort of thing. I guess that's more of a Russian illusion, really think about it. Not penal columns, penal camps.
No, Germans definitely did this during the war.
Well, I'm talking about,
100%.
yeah, but I think Russians are famous for the penal battalions. We sent you in the front so that our soldiers in the back will shoot you if you try to turn around and run away. That whole thing. I don't know. Maybe that's more famous in novels than it is in real life. But that sort of concept, I think they're not to the Nazi party level yet. They're clearly severely racist and subhumanizing these people. But our point of view character is giving us the insight that they're not complete a wall, that they can be changed, and that there's people on that side who are capable of change.
Well, just to go ahead and conclude, I still think they're definitely, fully, obviously ethno-state fascists, and the only question is, what is the depth of their evil here? What is going on precisely? Which we're gonna see more.
I feel like if we were to put this in an animation form, I mean, I'm not talking about the anime, like our thought process here, that I'm like imagining the character leaning forwards towards progress, and your same thought is that character leaning forwards, slipping on a banana peel to their ultimate doom.
Honestly, given the fact they've already said that she's probably gonna die doing this, maybe.
Well, because we don't know what they're doing, right? We don't know what Undertaker and the rest are up to, because it seems like clearly they're fine. Like, they're accepting of their situation. Haha, I drew her as a pig lady. You know, they've come to their conclusions of their situation. They encounter it in the battle and they get sad, and then they come back and celebrate the lives that they still have. But who knows what you can whisper into the ear of a person day in and day out that'll cause them to blow their brains out with a shotgun. Right?
Let's find out. Let's get that post-traumatic stress in. I think we did touch on that, like, really briefly, of, like, what exactly is going on with that. I already made the jokes, like, oh yeah, the dual brain, whatever.
Well, we had the scientist lady going over the 10% this, 5% that.
I was actually going to suggest, I think, a bit ago, but it was, like, too hard to articulate, like, very quickly, which is that, obviously what's happening to my perspective, or what I think is really going to happen, is Undertaker clearly has empathy for people, and imparting that onto the commanders suddenly makes them realize that they are the baddies, and that is why they lead to, like, the insanity and suicide.
Well, only one of them...
When you realize all the bad things you've done, they can't live with it.
Only one committed suicide, to my recollection. The other ones quit and retired, or something like that.
Right.
I mean, it's a good idea. The whole, I'm empathetic, I can't take this anymore, but at the same time, I don't know, we haven't been told if those people came from different companies either. Like, that they were transferred over like she was. Because it would make less sense if they were transferred in, and why would these hardened handlers be thrown off by the same thing that they've already been hearing? In which case, it would take the position of handlers just can't handle their jobs. Because you're literally, your whole job is listening to people die for a living and trying to direct people who don't want to die into deadly situations.
Yeah, we got like a good swath of like possibilities here. We could go anywhere with this, and we gotta just watch next time and find out. So, any last thoughts of yours before we go ahead and wrap up?
No, I'm trying to think, but nothing comes to mind from the very beginning of the episode, because that was just how our morning starts. See?
Yeah. Alright, in that case, let's go ahead and wrap it up for the day. This has been Stone Face Reactions, everybody. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone Face Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?